Hello demons and devils, welcome to Evil Speak. My name is Darin, I'm your host this evening. Remember what I said at the end of my Psycho Cop review? There's a sequel, isn't there? Fuck yeah, there is! This movie was directed by Rivkin and came out in 1993, 4 years after the original. So they really thought Psycho Cop was such an awesome movie that people needed to see a sequel, even after 4 years. Well, at least it's ballsy. People got sick and tired of slasher movies years ago. Hell, the genre was already dying when the first one came out. But, is it a worthy sequel? Is it as entertaining and awesomely bad as the first one? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's take a look at Psycho Cop Returns. The movie begins in a donut shop, where our title character, Officer Joe Vickers, once again played by Bobby Ray Shafer, is having breakfast. Right next to him there are two guys making plans for the night. Meet Larry and Brian, the stars of this movie. They've planned a bachelor party for one of their co-workers and are not being too subtle about it.
I've got the strippers ready. Mike has the booze. You have the grass. Shut up.
The cop overhears them and tells them to stay out of trouble. He leaves the donut shop and gets to his car, which is filled with body parts for some reason, and this is where we get the opening credits. Holy shit! Look at the cast of this movie! I've never heard of any of those people! Larry and Brian leave the donut shop too and go to work. The cop is following them but takes off when Larry is confronting him about it. This scares Brian so much that he dumps the weed in the mailbox. This is barely brought up in the movie again, so I guess the weed was about as important to them as it is to the plot. But when they arrive at their work, so is Officer Vickers. He parks his car right in front of the building and keeps an eye on them. Larry and Brian get into their office where we meet some of the other main characters. Like Gary, who the party is for, Mike, who's in charge of the booze, Officer Babe Sharon, and Tony and Chloe, whose function is... fuck each other? I'm not really sure what these people's jobs are. All they do is fool around all day. They're faxing silly pictures to each other and they're basically just waiting until everybody is gone so they can get their party on. After a long day, they're the only ones left in the building, except for Sharon, who's working late, and our lovebirds, who continue having sex after work. Brian looks out the window and sees the cop car is still standing there. He gets suspicious, but the other guys tell him he's just seeing ghosts. Let me analyze this. So this serial killer, who the cops were already looking for in the first movie and know what he looks like, moved to the big city and is standing outside an office building the entire day in a cop car which contains human body parts. Not exactly low profile, Joe. Larry gives Gus, the night watchman, some money to keep his mouth shut. They let in some hookers and it's time to have some fun.
Hey, thanks, Gus.
No problem.
Wait, this is a party with 4 guys, right? Who's ordering 3 girls for 4 guys? And I know Gary shouldn't get one because he's getting married, but here's the thing. Gary doesn't give a shit. I guess Larry doesn't want one of his friends to get laid. And because Larry is such a party animal, the party is already starting in the elevator.
Ready to party or what?
I'm ready to party.
So it seems.
Where's the music coming from? When they get up, the guys sit back and the girls all put on shows for them. You recognize this girl? That's Julie Strain, aka Judge Julie from Sex Court. So I've read. I never watched that show. So while the guys are having the time of their lives, guess who decides to crash the party? With the excuse of watching a football game, Gus lets the cop in and this is where the first kill comes up. Oh boy, he's holding a sharp pencil. This is gonna be good.
It's all fun and games, isn't it? Until someone loses an eye.
A cut version? I've got a cut version of this movie. You know what? F censorship and f the MPAA. I hope you all get f***ed in the ass by the giant dick of a motherfucking Jared, you f***ing assholes. And your moms too. So after he kills Gus, off screen, he takes the elevator and goes up. But do you think he's gonna kill them right away? No, of course not. He just sends the elevator up a couple of times. Seriously, what serial killer does that? Just go up there and chop their fucking heads off. And how does he know in what room they're in? Mike decides to go have a talk with Gus.
Hey Larry, what's this guy's name again?
His name's Gus.
Yo, Gus. Okay, next question. How does Joe Vickers know that Mike doesn't know Gus? And how does he know that someone is coming down in the first place? So, not Gus tells Mike the elevator is broken and they talk a little about the party. Mike promises to get him a bottle of whiskey, but when he's going down to bring it to him, the elevator goes berserk. Whoa, that looks amazing! amazingly stupid. When the elevator finally stops, Mike gets out, but Vickers is waiting for him and throws him down the elevator shaft. Right after that, the boys receive effects of Joe Vickers' chest. Brian immediately thinks it's the cop, but Larry thinks that's ludicrous.
Huh? Who wears a badge and coincidentally knows that we're up here? Gus?
Yeah, he does wear a badge. You know what he doesn't wear? A black uniform. They also get effects of Dead Mike and they assume he and Gus are just being drunk in the copy room. Okay, two things. One, from what I can see, Mike doesn't look all that bad for a guy who just got thrown down an elevator shaft. And two, so the cop went down there to get Mike, who is kinda heavy I can assure you, and still he managed to get him all the way up to the copy room. So that's what they mean by strong arm of the law. Shortly after that, Gary goes up to the roof with one of the hookers. Joe follows them up and shoots Gary in the head. Oh fuck you, this is a slasher movie. We watch these kind of movies for creative kills. If I want to see someone get shot, I would have watched RoboCop. What's he going to do with her? Throw her off the building? I already missed the kills in part 1. Of course Larry and Brian also get effects of that Gary and they think he's in the copy room with Mike. Brian decides to go get them. But when the copy room is all messy, his paranoia gets to him again. He gets Larry and the hookers and tries to convince them something is wrong. But as you might have guessed, Larry doesn't want to listen.
Give me a break. This is not Friday the 13th part Infinity here.
I wish it was. All those movies are better than this one. Okay, maybe not all of them. But all of a sudden, blood starts dripping from the ceiling and the dead bodies of Mike and Gary fall down. And this is where Brian delivers the best line in the movie.
Oh my god, I was right! I'm never right, but now I am right!
Priceless. They get the hell away and hide in a random office. Someone walks in, but luckily it's Sharon. They tell her the whole story about Mike and Gary being dead and that the killer's probably still in the building. Sharon walked in on Tony and Chloe having sex earlier, so she knows they're also in the building. They decide to go get them and leave as soon as possible. Wait. Is that a Psycho Cop poster in the background? Oh my god, it is! How can this movie take place in a universe where the movie Psycho Cop also exists? That's like Freddy Krueger stalking the cast and crew of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Oh yeah, that already happened. You know what happens when you think about these kind of things for too long? So they find Tony and Chloe, but there's one little problem. They're impaled. Seems like Chloe wasn't the only one getting penetrated. Joe Vickers shows up, and because no one knows that he is the killer, they're all relieved. He starts telling what happened in the first movie, but brings it like Joe Vickers is a person he is looking for. So Joe Vickers is telling some people about Joe Vickers, which is a real-life serial killer, but also a movie character that those people might have seen, and... Brian soon realizes that the cop is the killer because he recognizes his badge from the facts they got. Oh, and his badge number is 666. Subtle. Brian and Larry press Joe Vickers against the wall with the help of a desk and tell the girls to run. But the cop quickly recovers himself and shoots both Larry and Brian. Man, this guy is really running out of ideas with all the shooting. Come on, it's an office building. Use a stapler or something. Or paper cut somebody's throat. The girls are running away, but the door is locked. Sharon grabs Dead Gus's gun and they go find the fire exit.
I think there's a fire exit somewhere. Where? I don't know, there's never been a fire.
So, what are you gonna do when there is a fire? I think it would be nice to know where the fire exit is located. Of course Vickers turns up and captures one of the hookers. He shoots the other one and hey, that's blood. I guess the MPAA forgot to cut that out. And he tells Sharon to put down the gun. If she does, he promised not to shoot her. Sharon lowers the gun and Joe Vickers makes his promise. He doesn't shoot her.
I never said I'd let her go. I only said I wouldn't shoot her.
Okay, that's a little clever. Sharon gets away and runs through an office. But Joe Vickers goes after her.
Here's Joey.
Really? You're using other people's one-liners now? Oh, and now he's hacking a door to pieces? You know a movie is bad when the filmmakers try to reference The Shining but are too stupid to do it in the correct order. Sharon is hiding in the girls' room and Vickers gets there immediately. I guess he can smell her or something. No, I'm not gonna make a menstruation joke. She attacks him with a can of deodorant and a lighter. The cop backs off and Sharon throws him down an elevator shaft. That's original. We've only seen that once in this movie. So everything seems safe and Sharon walks down the stairs to get out of the building. She bumps into Brian, who survived the gunshot from earlier, and together they get to the front door. Again.
Oh shit, I completely forgot. We can't get out this way.
Oh come on, how stupid do you gotta be to make that mistake twice? And why doesn't she just shoot the glass? So they want to get to the elevator to leave through the garage, an option never mentioned before. But the cop is still alive and attacks Brian with an axe. By the way, I didn't edit this scene. It's really in the movie like this. So once again Sharon runs away, chased by Officer Vickers. She manages to get out of the building, but Vickers finally gets her and starts beating her senseless. Some people in the bar see the whole thing and decide to go and help her. And without hesitating, they start beating the cop with bats. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just enjoying watching a cop getting beaten to shit. And there's the movie's director in a cameo, filming the whole thing. Personally, I don't even think that is a cameo. I just think someone randomly filmed this guy operating a camera. We then cut to Sharon and Brian, who are in the hospital. Brian apparently also survived the axe attack. The TV shows the camera footage and we hear that Joe Vickers got captured and is now in the hospital. That's right, the same hospital. And guess what room he's in? Yeah, room 666, so what? It's not like this movie could get any dumber. And when the nurse is bringing him his food, we hear some disturbance and Joe Vickers escapes. Damn, they really missed the opportunity of a second sequel here. Like Psycho Surgeon or Psycho Nurse. Could work. So that Psycho Cop returns. And I think we all agree that this is a bad movie. It's unnecessary to begin with, the acting is horrible and Joe Vickers' one-liners are even worse than in the first part. In fact, here's my top 10 worst Joe Vickers one-liners from this movie. Number 10.
Come out with your hands where we can see them. Damn, that always works with TV.
Number 9.
Shit for brains.
Number 8.
I've always been good at killing time.
Number 7.
I'll be right back. Why don't you keep an eye out while I'm gone?
Number 6.
You have the right to remain dead.
Number 5.
I really think that we should talk about all those unpaid parking tickets.
Number 4.
Thanks for the booze, but I never drink when I'm on duty.
Number 3.
The verdict is in. Aw, too bad. It's the death penalty.
Number 2.
What are you gonna do now? Call the cops?
Number 1.
You know, I'm beginning to suspect foreplay.
That is not funny.
That being said, this may sound strange, but I enjoy the hell out of this movie. I like it even better than the first part. Of course the kills aren't that good and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but you shouldn't take these kind of movies too seriously. This is not the type of movie they wanted to win an Oscar with, they just wanted you to have a good time. It's about as silly as the first part, but I like the characters better and the atmosphere works pretty well. A giant office building is an awesome setting for a slasher. There's practically no escape and the killer can be anywhere. And in some shots, the empty hallways look really creepy. There is no Psycho Cop 3, so automatically this is the last time Bobby Ray Shafer plays this character. However, he has a cameo as a cop in the 2006 movie Monster Man. I don't think that's a coincidence. So yeah, I would say this is a worthy sequel to the original, even though it's not for everyone. The real problem here doesn't come from the movie itself, but from the DVD. It cuts down literally all the kills and that really pisses me off. Horror movies are made for adults. We can handle a little gore. And even if we can't, it's our responsibility when we watch it. Nobody should decide for us what we can or cannot watch. So, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna pay a visit to the MPAA's office. It was closed. I guess that's all we got for this time. I'll see you all later.
Check the word overseer like a sample, repeat it